Good evening. Thank you so much for making the time for the show. My name is Medri Nyambura. We are live on Family TV, also live on Family Radio, and the name of the show is This is the Day. So quick question to you. Have you ever had a conversation with somebody or any interaction whatsoever, and then afterwards you try to recall that conversation with them and they tell you they did not say that, they did not do that, you're misquoting them, and the first time you let it slide, but it happens over and over again to a point where you start doubting your own sanity? My friend, you are a victim of gaslighting, or what we'd call manipulation, and I'm happy that we have somebody who's an expert in this field. He'll break it down for us so that we understand it. Gregory Mwaura, karibu sana.
Asante.
You have too many titles, which is a good thing. We like titles. So you're a lecturer, you're an author, you're also a therapist at Nazarene University. Yeah. I was telling you the HOD is a friend to the family, so we say hi to her. She's probably watching. Okay. Karibu sana.
Asante.
So let's just get to it. What does gaslighting mean, or the art of manipulation?
The art of manipulation is the fact that I'm not in touch with my inner self. I am not aware of my environment and my internal environment. Therefore, I am not present. I'm absent. Physically, you can see that I'm there, but in terms of my mind, in terms of how I am processing information, how I am understanding information, the aspect of concentration, the aspect of processing that information and getting what the meaning of it is jeopardized, or I'm not able to do that in a simple language. Mm-hmm. So also control is the fact that I can only do something until a certain extent.
Okay.
Because if I have to think, if I have to do things in a certain way, I can only do them at a certain extent, which unconsciously I'm not aware that I'm being controlled. I'm not aware that that the reason why I can only do things to a certain extent. Mm-hmm. So that is the aspect of manipulation and control.
Let me ask,
yes.
Does it get to a point where you're so used to be manipulated that you don't know any better? Does it get there?
Yes. We grow in a family or in different places. The place that we grow gives us a certain way of interacting with the world.
Okay.
If my family thrived, or the members of my family, that is my parents, thrived in manipulation, I will not be different.
Okay.
So essentially, it can be learned from the environment that I'm in. I've been brought up in a certain family. I've started a relationship with someone. Mm-hmm. I can learn to be manipulated because and the bigger reason why I'm manipulated is because of my inner self. Mm-hmm. In the childhood, we cannot really say a lot, because by then your defense mechanisms, we say the things that makes you aware of yourself mm-hmm. are not yet mature. But when it comes to now in your later years, you find that there are some things that happens inside me. What is this? I may either be not in touch with myself, and this one is coming possibly from different avenues. If I've ever been traumatized, like our brothers who were involved in post-election violence,
yes.
Because it was truly, truly traumatizing.
Mm-hmm.
Refugees, because of issues they undergo, rape, especially to ladies, and now sodomy for the young. For the young. If there is any traumatic event that has ever happened to your life, mm-hmm. You tend to actually absorb that negative energy, and it lives in you. So when it comes to processing of information and interacting with your world, you find that you cannot do it, or if you're doing it to a certain extent.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like you have lenses of negativity. So anything that comes in, that's what goes out as well.
Yeah, but in another world, we say that possibly you have conditions of worth. I can only I can only fit to be called a daughter or a son of a parent if I do 1, 2, 3. I'm in campus, I have to get an A. That is the only way that I can fit to be called your daughter or your son.
Okay.
I'm your wife. I must cook for you. I must wash for you. I have to make sure that possibly I go even, sometimes I wonder some of the things that I hear in my therapy room. You actually wonder whether that particular person is mature. Because a mature human being essentially should live functionally.
Okay.
In an interdependent relationship where this particular person is not coming to actually baby me.
Yes.
But is coming to add value in my life to become a better person. Okay. But you find issues to do with manipulation because essentially I'm insecure. I have I've been conditioned myself that a woman must do 1, 2, 3, a man must do 1, 2, 3. So if I'm not doing that, it causes me psychological disturbances. Another aspect is if I'm not able to do things for myself, we call them actualizing tendency. Okay. At 18 years, at 25 years, at 30 years, what is this that you can place on the table? You say, I'm pursuing this. Your goals, your aspirations. You find that if you don't have a crystal clear goal about your life and living, what are you working on? What can you place on the table? 1 year down the line, when you look at your rear mirror, what can you say about yourself? Okay. If you have nothing to actually place on the table, it's actually a challenge. Relationships. You find that maybe in marriages, especially ladies become enmeshed. We call it enmeshment. In that you lose yourself in the dreams and aspirations of your husband. I think no man wants that, only that it happens. So you find that there is an aspect of enmeshment. You look at yourself 5 years down the line, you cannot find yourself because you lost yourself. You came in and you didn't understand who you are, why you're in that particular relationship, what is your contribution, what are your challenges, what are your definition? Because essentially in every developmental stage, I have to define myself. Okay. Yeah,
I hear that. There's something you've mentioned, and it brought the question: if you grew up in a home where there was manipulation by whichever parent, but you're able to see that, does it stunt your growth? Because you talked about maturity, where sometimes somebody will walk into your office and you're wondering, are they mature enough? Does it stunt your maturity?
Yes. It's unfortunate that when we want to become drivers, we go to a driving school. But when we want to become parents, I don't know where we go. And if we go, it's because things are worse in our situation. Because I should understand the developmental issues of my child. I should sit down and possibly understand what is my child undergoing. Because essentially, he is the person who I will give the baton to actually take my family or take me to the next level. But you find that we don't pay attention to our children. We only give them food and buy them clothes when others are actually, they have overgrown them. But in terms of psychological accompaniment, at what age? A good example is adolescent. I should get my identity. But where am I getting my identity from? As it is specifically from the parents, their relationships. How are they relating? Are they relating in a mature way? But you find there is a lot of issues in terms of the interpersonal coming from inside me. Yes. So I came in this relationship and absconded my responsibility of provision on different sides of the relationship. So you find I have to purport to be something that I'm not. So when I'm purporting to be something that I'm not, I will be able to, I'm doing this essentially to manipulate the other person.
I see that.
So you have to, kids actually learn, especially when they are young, they learn through seeing, not through hearing. Okay. So what they see is actually what they actually do before they now grow in terms of their mind to start now processing information. Okay. So if you have the wrong map right from the word go, believe you me, correcting that thing is actually work that, guys, we need to do.
Gregory, let me ask you. So you grew up in this home where, say, either the mother or the father or both of them are manipulative.
Yeah.
So if the mother is the one who's manipulative, it means the man is the one who's the victim.
Yes.
So you, as a child, watching from the outside, does it matter who you become? Are you bound to be both, or do you become the manipulator or you become the victim? Does it matter?
Yes. It matters on who you identify with more.
Okay.
As we are growing up, we identify with different parents differently at different developmental stages.
Okay.
In 3 years, 4 years, you find a girl identifying more with the father. At this stage, you find a boy identifying more with the father, and subsequently, who is available because of the issues of attachment.
Yes.
If my mother has been so present and has been manipulating my dad, me as a woman, I'll be looking for relationships that fit what my mother did.
Oh my goodness. Is this subconscious? Do you do this subconsciously?
Yes,
Okay.
It's very unconscious because that is what you learn.
Okay.
If I saw my mother manipulating my dad and it became to my awareness, I'll be looking for somebody not to manipulate me. So I will look for somebody that I must manipulate.
Let me tell you, I just had a moment where it all made sense. It literally all made sense.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter. It matters which parent you identify with at that point.
Yes,
that's
yes,
who you
and
become.
subsequently, and the levels of attachment. There's secure attachment and unsecure attachment. Secure attachment is that particular parent that you feel secure to speak or to be with.
Okay.
And it's actually most based on the emotions. And
Okay.
these emotions are created by time. Sorry for the absent parents. But if you understand the issues of attachment, they actually go beyond the family. For me, when I'm doing counseling to the couples or to individuals preparing for marriage, I tell them, take me to your childhood experience with your family. Because I must psycho-educate you from there. Because essentially what we are calling relationships, there are 6 people who live there.
Okay.
In my marriage, there is the mother of my wife, the father of my wife, there is my father, there is my mother, there is me and her.
Okay.
And these 6 people are controlled by 2 people. Therefore, we need to mature to actually form functional relationships.
Okay.
If we don't do it, it is the chaotic we are saying.
Okay. Do you know what's so fascinating? We had a guest who said that we were talking about supporting your partner's career,
Yeah.
and they're a couple, and they said in a marriage there are actually 6 people, and that's what people don't think about. So
Yes.
it's very fascinating that you said the same thing.
Yeah, and I have to mature to be able to control my parents and my 2 parents, my mother and my father, in my marriage.
Okay.
And it is very conscious or unconscious. Because you will hear a man saying, I want to be like my father. Woe unto you. Because this person has not moved from the shadow
Yeah.
of the parent, has not matured. In terms of height and weight, we would say this particular person is actually of age.
Okay.
But in terms of psychological maturity, which has 2 aspects. One is being aware of here and now. At my age, what is this that I want for my family?
Okay.
That is one, here and now. And my psychological history or psychohistory, which is my own experience.
I actually understand. Yeah.
The 2 aspects must meet for me to say that I'm aware of myself in this relationship. So manipulation happens in different aspects. There is economic manipulation. Yes, if I have money, I manipulate you,
Okay.
I will pick you, drop you, do whatever I want.
Allow me to cut you off because I don't want you to spoil it. I want us to talk about that. We're live on Family TV, also live on Family Radio, talking about the art of manipulation, but the intention is for you to understand what that is, how you can stop it, and how you can even guard, say, your children. If you're raising young children, how do you make sure they don't go through that? We are still with Gregory Mwaura, and there's somebody who's asked the question, and we had mentioned it, but then they've gone further and asked, do people deliberately manipulate you? You can answer that, then just weave your way into what that looks like.
Sometimes it is not conscious.
Okay.
That they are manipulating you, unless now you become aware. Few things I would state. One is the aspect of insecurity, either in me who is manipulated or in you who is manipulating. If I loved someone and this person disappointed me, left me like that, the next person who come online, I will do things differently. So how I'm purporting to do things differently, I am manipulating them and in turn controlling them.
Okay.
Another thing is your past experience. There are people who are afraid of freedom, the ability to make decisions.
No, you
and
just
take
can't skip over that. You just can't skip over that. Explain what do you mean by afraid of freedom?
I'm afraid of freedom. Freedom is the ability to take responsibility. In the Garden of Eden, when God came, asked Adam, what happened?
Yes.
Adam said, it is the woman.
Yes.
When the woman was asked, the woman said, it is the snake. Cain, when he killed Abel, when God asked, he said, am I my brother's keeper? That is arrogance.
Okay.
But that is an aspect of not taking responsibility, which dictates how mature you are. Maturity is dictated by the ability to take responsibility. So your past experience, if you have not matured enough to take responsibility, are you in love with this particular person? Like, I've been married for 5 years. What is my role? Am I adding value to this particular person I'm living with?
Okay.
This particular person I have met as my girlfriend, am I adding value? Or I am manipulating this person to control her? At work, yes. Am I taking responsibility? Are these people maximizing on their potential, or they have to do things until a certain point for me not to be outshined? Because I'm insecure. And my past experience dictates that I should not allow people to outshine me. Or my past experience, I have been manipulated and I don't know otherwise. Another one is unfinished businesses. As people, we undergo through experiences.
Yes.
In life, in different developmental stages. Did I come to a closure of my issues? A past relationship. Did I come to a closure of it? My past place of work, have I done closure with it? My child, am I aware that I can be manipulated by my child?
By your child.
Am I aware that I can be manipulated by my husband? I can be manipulated by my wife. I can, every aspect of, because of unfinished business. I am not processing something and making peace with it. So I can be manipulated.
Okay.
Another thing is fear. Because fear is falsehood appearing true. Like I was somewhere on Sunday and somebody was saying, I didn't tell you I am leaving for Mombasa for 2 weeks because you would suspect me I am going to be with someone. And I was looking at the level of maturity.
Yes.
If I'm mature enough and I'm not afraid of the freedom, because freedom is taking responsibility to the level of my capacity and my definition. Who am I? I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a teacher, I'm a lecturer, I'm a therapist. So what is my responsibility here? If I'm not afraid of those responsibilities, what should I fear?
Why fear saying that you're actually going to Mombasa?
And every day I need to build capacity for me not to be afraid. But you find us, possibly we are spending a lot of time not really building our capacity, but destroying who we are. So that is why I can't be manipulated. Lack of self-awareness is something else. Are you aware of your energy here now? Your energies, where are they? Which area of your stomach are you using to breathe? Simple stuff. This one tells you that possibly you are anxious. The cells
Let me tell you, I'm in a class right now. I'm in a class.
I am humbled. I am humbled.
What do you mean? What part of your stomach are you using to breathe?
Yes.
Just explain that for us.
You see, physiologically, if I'm fearing, I will breathe faster.
Okay.
Because I'm using fight-flight mode. I'm ready for a fight. I'm ready for running away. So essentially, I will not breathe with my stomach. My diaphragm will not actually be stretching as it should. You know, it will have short, and I will breathe faster.
Okay.
You know, so that is one. I will ever be tired. You ever tired because you're anxious, you fear, because anxiety is key. Anxiety is key, and it is very much destroying.
Okay.
You know, physiologically, maybe just to highlight a little, we have two kinds of hormones. Doctors can explain to you better: vasopressin and cortisol. They are very destructive. They make your muscles contract.
Oh, that's why when you're anxious,
Yes.
somebody will touch your shoulders,
Yes.
and they'll say it's a bit too tight.
Thank you.
Okay.
Because they contract. You'll always have constipation. And when you go to the hospital, you tell them that, they cannot see your disease. We call them psychosomatic. They are all psychological.
Okay.
They cannot be noted by a medical doctor who actually looks at the specimen to ascertain where are you suffering. So you'll find people taking a lot of drugs. And what actually they need is psychological well-being.
Okay.
Back to
They need a
topic.
session with Mr. Maura. Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know whether some of the key things that will ensure that I'm manipulated to different developmental stages. You'll find that if I'm relating with my parents, depending on the level that I'm in, the developmental stage, I have matured. Some families are run by families of origin. Like I go to my mother,
Yes.
she tells me, oh, a man should not be done this by a woman.
Yes.
You're like, hey, mom, she's my darling. She's
Yes.
my wife. You know, can you allow me to actually experience her when she's free?
Actually being mature, the way you said being mature enough
Yes,
to
I'm not afraid.
articulate
Mom,
that.
it is me who actually went and,
Yes.
you know, I was moved by this lady who I made my wife, a mother of my children. I am experiencing my wife as a husband in front of her. It's a mystery. I cannot really put enough words into it.
Okay.
I'm ever grateful. So the key thing is the developmental competence that I'm in, or the stage that I'm in. You'll find that maybe they will tell you stuff, oh, go and do this. You know, we don't have money, we educated you. They'll always remind you of your past. It is good to mature. It is good to know that actually this is until where I can do this, because I need to run a family. This is my historical context here and now.
Maura, let me just, again, there's something you've said where a parent will remind you, I paid your school fees, I do this. Is that manipulation?
Period. Crystal clear. That is manipulation.
Where there's a guilt trip, so that...
Because, honestly, allow me this space.
Yes.
I didn't write an application to be born. And we say children are fruits of marriage. And when they brought me in this world, they need to take care of me.
Okay.
And they take care of themselves. So if they forgot to take care of themselves, I need to help them until where I'm comfortable. But I should not be manipulated.
You're going to ruffle a lot of feathers with that statement.
No, I should help them. I'm not disputing that I should help, but I should help them aware of myself, because my child will not understand why he cannot go to the university because I did some businesses for my parents. You know, I need to know the historical context I am, and I'm talking about awareness. Because I should sit down and actually look, where are the resources? Because essentially everybody can do something. But you see, you're reminding me how you actually went barefooted. I respect that, ma'am. You know, you did a lot for me. God bless you. I am ever indebted in front of you. But can you please allow me to live my life? Please don't manipulate me, because I have family to take care of. Because why families maybe may break down is because the family of origin. You know, some people are told it's good you've married her because we'll have money.
Okay.
You know, it's good that you've married him because right now we've been sorted.
That is such a bad thing when I think about it. Before you continue, let me ask something else that has come up. Do good people manipulate people?
A mature person will not manipulate.
So irrespective of whether you're good or bad, it's the maturity.
You will not, it's an aspect of maturity. Maturity, am I aware of myself?
Okay.
Am I in touch with myself? Why am I with this particular person?
I hear you. Carry on.
Yeah, so another aspect that will ensure that really brings an aspect of manipulation is gender. Kenya, mostly we've been schooled in the patriarchal kind of system. It's a man, it's a man, it's a man, which is a coincidence of nature. Sorry to tell you this, because I didn't write an application to be born a man. You didn't write an application to be born a woman. It is God who has granted me a chance to experience myself in form of a man. It is God who has granted you that body to experience yourself in there, and he has given you the potentialities to do it. The greatest thing that possibly should actually help us interact with each other is reason.
Okay.
Because Christ told men, love your wives as Christ loved the church. And wives, love your husbands as Christ loved the church. So it is equal love and not otherwise.
Okay.
But you see, gender, the aspect that I'm the man, I'm the woman, you need to be submissive. So we are finding ourselves at crossroads in Africa because we want to be modern, at the same time we want to be traditional. So who are you? Can you define yourself?
Okay. We need to find our own identity as a
social
continent.
position.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm in a position of leadership, I'm the CEO, I'm the manager, name it. You know, so you find people using positions to manipulate others because I can decide whether you're going home or not, whether you will work in this institution or not. So you find ourselves succumbing. I need a promotion. What do I need to do? You will find us people succumbing. You know, I ask somebody, wait until today. You succumb to that manipulation. And we come 5 years from today. You look back, you ask yourself whether it was worth.
Do you know what comes to mind? Do you know people who will intentionally sabotage others, whatever scenario we have? So let's say at work or even at a business, and they will intentionally do that because they're trying to manipulate these to get ahead. It just all made sense to me.
And I'm waiting to see whether you can sustain. I'm not afraid whether you have opened a business. The question is, will that business be there 5 years from today?
Okay.
I'm not afraid whether you have married. The question is, will that marriage still the light of the generations? I'm not afraid whether you've bought a car. The question is, can you maintain, can you sustain that? I'm not afraid whether you've done 1, 2, 3. The question is, can you sustain it?
Allow me to read a comment.
Yes,
This is from Jed. You're saying, hi, loving the conversation. I am now aware of why I had an insatiable desire to get approval from my late mother, seeing that I was her only child. And the more she held on to me, I ended up resenting her. And by God's grace, I am now unlearning tendencies of not taking correction well and getting people to do what I want, and other things like emotions of fear, which she also had. Indeed, awareness is the beginning of freedom, because what remains unconfronted cannot begin to change. I will allow you to give that feedback.
I cannot salute that person with enough words.
Let me tell you, she's a fantastic lady. Family TV, we're also live on Family Radio talking about the art of manipulation, and now we're getting to the point where we talk of how you're going to overcome it. And there's a question that has just been sent in. That's on WhatsApp, 0786316316. We still have a couple of more minutes. You can send in your question. But first, let me say hi to Tusu. Hi, Tusu. Thank you for always being tuned in. You're saying, I'm loving this talk. I'm learning so much. I was telling Greg, Yani, he's so good. But let's get to this question. Hi, Nyambura. I'm enjoying the show. I have a question. I'm in a relationship with this guy, and he's always changing. At times, he's nice, but then in most cases, he's harsh. He doesn't want to be corrected. According to him, he's always right, and whatever he says, that's what he wants done. He's the one making the decisions and always seeing my mistakes. So question number 1, Greg, is that manipulation? And in such a case, is it subconscious? He doesn't show any signs of changing, and I'm afraid that should we take the relationship to the next level, it could get worse. And then she asks again, is it manipulation?
Yes, it's actually manipulation. That lady, if this particular person is annoyed or you cannot listen, because for a functional relationship to be, I have to be taken care of. And how it means I'm taken care of is when I'm saying something and somebody can actually bisect it, analyze it, and make sense to me, whether it is a superior or something needs to be added to that idea for it to be finer, for me to experience myself and to be part and parcel of that relationship. For me, I feel 2 things. It is either they seek help.
The person manipulating?
The person, because she's still free,
and
she feels this relationship can be taken to the next level. Let them seek help to a psychological counselor.
Okay.
Somebody qualified to do psychological counseling. The 2 of them. If it was not happening, I like calling a spade, run. Because that can jeopardize the rest of your life.
Okay.
Because some mistakes are permanent. You know, sometimes I look at the intensity of the marriage. I did marriage and family at the diploma level and the degree level. And the intensity of the marriage, guys, we actually joke with it. Because for me to be a counselor, I had to go for some training for a very long time. I meet someone down the line 1 year, 2 years, it's not actually a diploma. I am making a lifelong commitment, you know, because maybe I'm 25 and God grant me 70 years. For heaven's sake, how many years are those I have to live with someone?
And imagine it being the wrong person.
Thank you. So for me, I call it a spade.
Okay.
Yeah, and I can take responsibility.
Because you're mature enough to do so.
Yes.
I'm learning. But let me ask you, Greg.
Yes.
Is there a situation whereby you have a manipulative person and a manipulative person manipulating each other? Is that possible?
Yes, it can be. It can be because when I am with someone who is manipulative, aware or not aware, I will learn how to do things the way they want them to be done. And they think that I am doing them because I want them to be done. But I'm actually manipulating.
That is so toxic because it's victim, manipulator,
Yes.
victim situation.
Yes.
Okay.
So it can happen to people who are manipulating. Believe you me, in terms of the relationship, interpersonal relationships that we form, I remember we are not doing life skills in our education system. We don't want to learn. We don't want to know the way of being with the other person. You know, the importance of personal boundaries, the importance of knowing that possibly at this particular point, this person needs his space. You know, yes, we are married, but this person needs his space because it can be chaotic, you know, when possibly everything is happening. So there can be, and actually for me, if I am manipulative, there is a higher possibility I will get somebody who I will manipulate for this particular person to be in the relationship, must toe my line. When he's towing my line, he's unconsciously manipulating me.
Hey, tutakuja class. Another question. Hi, family. I have been manipulated by my separated parents until I'm not able to sustain myself, yet I have a job. What do I do yet the Bible says respect your parents? You touched on it, but to say, dear, a gentleman by the name of Baba Carl.
Good. The Bible says, what is this if you gain the whole world and you lose yourself? I think it's Matthew 16:26 or the vice versa. I'm looking at this relationship, yes. Why did they separate? It's because the unfinished business. It's because they have issues. And if you don't take care of yourself, to learning to say no, and it is not bad. Because essentially, when you call me, You are calling me to actually support you. I should actually make sure that I know your well-being. You're working. What did you do your salary? Do you have a budget? You want me to pay your rent, yet you're working. You want me to feed you. Are you working? Do you have your pension? Because essentially, everybody should take responsibility of who they are, if at all they are mature. So for me, I feel one, he really needs to make peace with himself.
Okay.
Be compassionate. Don't blame yourself. Accept that this is manipulation. Don't deny. Because when you deny, for how long will you deny? You will be in a bottomless pit.
Because it makes sense for you to say, I can't be manipulated. It's very easy to say that.
But you see, you have to actually wake up and actually state what you feel and ask for responsibility from the other person. Yes, mom, you want me to do this. Yet, this is my position. Where are you emanating from, mom, for me to actually do this? Because at the end of the day, yes, there has to be personal responsibility, and that, for me, maturity. There are 3 places that manipulation happens. The greatest organ in your body is your brain. It is the interface that controls the external environment and your internal environment. When your gallbladder is full, it communicates to the brain and you go and empty it. When you see a car coming and it has swerved on the road, it is the brain that interprets that action and prepares you for fight or flight. So this manipulation starts, first of all, at the conscious level, where you are not comfortable. You see somebody asking you for money, is your mother, and you cannot resist, but you're thinking, I don't have. Maybe you go into different platforms of loans, like now we have them on our phones.
Yes.
And you pick it and you forward. So the person realizes, okay, so I can pull a string and this particular person will do something. You get? So it happens at the conscious level and goes to the preconscious, and subsequently to unconscious. At the unconscious level, things are tight. Things are tight because you think it's a way of being. And you will be equals to stress, some aspects of depression, to some great extent, substance abuse and drug use.
Yeah.
You are ever tired, you're never happy. You cannot advance in life in terms of your career, because you're psychologically disturbed. Psychologically disturbed. And sometimes we become fanatics of religion, Everything I'm like, you have to take humanly responsible. Because even Jesus asked, who do you say that I am? Who do you people, who do you say that I am? I have to answer that question constantly in my life. So after my thoughts have been affected,
yes,
it produces feelings. On people who are a bit advanced, we call it limbic system. It produces our emotions. When I am manipulated, I feel bad. Whenever I feel bad, it affects how I act. So it's a triangle. My thoughts, my feelings, and my actions.
Okay.
If my actions, when I'm manipulated in terms of actions, there is what my brain registers, and there is a feeling that is produced. So that is why when people are in manipulative relationship, it is a work that they have to do to actually liberate themselves from the issues. Allow me to give an example of this. I have seen a lady in my therapy room, and we went through 5 sessions, and she actually came to realize that in her marriage she has been manipulated for 12 years. So she cried for like 30 minutes, and I allow her that because she has to bring out the emotions. I should not tell her not to cry. It is actually okay to cry, because that is a way of venting out emotions, negative energy. So after my sessions, she went and discussed with the husband. Can we sit here, dear? That possibly this is what I feel. For the 12 years, I don't feel that I mean anything to you. You always want to have your way, without really a consultation and a consensus. I feel we live this life according the way we want, not that we have an input here. And they discussed far and wide, and the husband was like very remorseful. Okay. Because he didn't realize that what he's doing is actually manipulation. There are 2 kinds of authority. Allow me to say this. There is rational authority and irrational authority. Rational authority is when I tell you something to do that I can do. That is rational authority. But irrational authority is when I want you to do things that I cannot do myself.
Okay.
So I need to ask constantly the question, that which I'm proposing to my wife, to my workers, to my friends, can I do it? If I cannot do it, then I am manipulating them.
If it were reversed, you would not
yes,
do it.
if this was done to you,
yes,
would you be happy? Because the tool of life and living is myself. What is this if you gain the whole world and you lose yourself?
Greg, we have about 1 minute, and there's a question I need to ask. Where you talked about, remember when you mentioned the fear, you're afraid of freedom?
Yes.
That stuck with me. Could that be the reason why people self-sabotage a lot? Does that have any linking to manipulation?
Yes, yes. Because the ability to take responsibility must be built constantly. I must be aware of myself. I must have the soft skills. I need to have to really process my issues. I need to have actualizing tendency. Am I using which direction am I using? Am I viewing myself the way people want me to be? That is external locus of evaluation. Or am I using who I am, my real self, from my own experience? Or even how do I view myself? Because I can view myself as a victor. I can view myself as somebody who has been challenged by life beyond repair. So, the issues of self-concept.
Yes.
So the key thing is being aware. Are you a functional, mature human being?
Okay.
In touch with yourself. Don't give yourself conditions of what I must be, shoulds, and what have you, because that is where a manipulation comes in.
Yeah.
Actualizing tendency. What are you fulfilling? Are you in your purpose? Do you have a purpose? Are you in your purpose as a married woman, as a husband, as a child? Name it. Do you have that? How do you view yourself? How do you evaluate yourself? Are you really seeing the wrong things that we have made you see? About yourself, or you're emanating, I am beautifully and wonderfully made. Is it, am I tying this to my intelligence, or I'm tying this to my memory? Woe unto you if you're tying this to your memory, because memory keeps on fluctuating.
That is
but
so
if
true.
I'm tying this to intelligence, I will be able to actually look at the world and tell them I am beautifully and wonderfully made, because I'm aware of myself. This is the best thing that has ever happened to this world.
Greg, we have to end this. Time is done.
Thank you.
It's actually done. It was so refreshing to have this conversation with you. Asante sana. There's somebody who's asked a question on 20316. I'll have him answer that off air, because we literally have to go. Here's what we can do. We can always do a part B of this, because I also need classes. But thank you so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.